My name is Clara Vernik. I came from Russia in 1981. I became a member of Pacific Jewish Center in 1984. And I am the luckiest and the happiest woman in the world because I belong to this wonderful congregation, to this wonderful young congregation.
Everybody in the community has such an incredible warmth about them, a genuineness that just makes you want to be around them, makes you want to come to shul.
Over the years, my family got so far away from Jewish tradition. They weren't involved at all. We didn't even go to High Holy Day services. And I'd be lost to the Jewish people too, if it weren't for Pacific Jewish Center.
Pacific Jewish Center was my bridgeway to Judaism. I see Pacific Jewish Center as a place that people who were going along the same path as I was, down the path of assimilation, have an opportunity to reevaluate the Judaism which they were born into.
It's being able to know that you're Jewish and you come from a Jewish family.
I get to be part of the family. It's very different. It's more like not just being good friends. It's being embraced with the heart.
I don't think there's any place in America where you'd be less likely to expect a revival of traditional Judaism than the Venice Ocean front. But this is where it happened. And when we started out 13 years ago, it was basically just a small group of people who were getting a lot of satisfaction out of studying Judaism together in various living rooms. But that study led to the idea that we could make a contribution to the Jewish world at large by starting a new community. And in the process of starting something new, we ended up saving something old, because we went down to the synagogue on the ocean front, this wonderful old synagogue that was all but abandoned at the time and was kept from destruction only by a very small group of very elderly people. And who knew, when we first got together with them, that this would grow into everything that we have today. From the very beginning, we were resolved we weren't going to charge regular membership dues. We weren't going to sell tickets for the high holidays. The only standard of membership in Pacific Jewish Center would be a regular commitment to Jewish learning.
PJC is an experiment that has worked. PJC has taken an idea, not a new idea, but a very, very old idea, and implanted it in an unusual part of the modern world, and proven not only that it works as a traditional establishment, but that it works as a modern force in a modern time.
I don't think that there's a rabbi in North America who wouldn't change places with me at a moment's notice. Here in Venice, we have a situation where we don't have room. We don't have premises that are large enough. We don't have personnel to satisfy this enormous hunger for studying Torah that exists here. That is a very exciting thing for any rabbi.
I found a lot of things in learning about the Torah here at PJC and being in the community and seeing how people live that have struck something inside of me. That's me. Where did I get that from? How did I know that? Things about my drive and the Jewish people's drive and why that makes me a Jew as well.
Of course, when I was at Harvard, I thought that the intellectual work that I was doing was the ultimate cutting edge of that kind of endeavor. It wasn't until I got involved in Jewish textual analysis and work that I realized that I had been playing second fiddle at Harvard.
It's almost unbelievable, the growth that I see here. I have seen people come from complete ignorance of their own Jewishness, complete ignorance of their own heritage, and slowly watch them grow to the point where many of them are now teachers. They're teaching others, and they're sharing it.
They give you a lot of Jewish education in a nice, warm, well-rounded way. Nothing is pushed. Everything is done real pleasantly. And most of all, it makes me feel like my week is a lot different when I come here all the way from Chatsworth. It really separates my week and really makes Shabbat what it should be, a special day aside from the rest.
There's a feeling of brotherhood, of togetherness here, which is quite amazing. It's a place where people can come, and especially young single people also, can come here and meet in an environment that is non-threatening. My grandparents used to say to me, you want to meet a nice girl, go to shul.
What I've seen over the past 12 years has been unbelievable. From a relatively small group of single people, we have a huge group of married people. And almost everyone here, including myself, found his spouse and started his family right here at Pacific Jewish Center.
I guess the moment for me at my wedding that I remember best was my parents had expressed a lot of concern about the fact that at a traditional Jewish wedding there's not mixed dancing, and as a result of that, many of their friends might feel uncomfortable with the process. And I realized that problem had been solved when my major dance partner at the wedding was my father, and we were arm in arm dancing together, and the power and beauty of the Jewish wedding really came home at that moment to me.
I now understand fully what it means to enjoy a happy occasion. That was why I think when I went to that wedding, that first exposure I had to the Pacific Jewish Center, I thought it was a little bit odd. I didn't understand that everybody with practically every fiber in their body could be enjoying somebody else's happiness because it was all the happiness of all Jews.
As our community grew and single people found one another, got married, we celebrated more than 80 weddings in just 9 years, and then of course they started having children. Well, naturally, we needed a school, and that's why we started the Emanuel Streisand School.
All the members of the community are my children. And grandchildren, of course, and great-grandchildren. I love our children very much. I'm so happy I came to school for volunteering.
Can you say thank you to Mrs. Crowley? Thank you, Mrs.
Welcome, darling.
I don't think you can put a money value on what I see our children coming home with. And not only do I see them coming home with knowledge, but I see them coming home excited about what they've learned and very willing and anxious to share it with us. I don't know if there's any better investment that we could make than making sure that the Emanuel Streisand School goes forever.
As principal of the Streisand School, I'm particularly proud of the California Achievement Test scores. Our last year's overall school average for the California Achievement Test, which is a standardized test given all over the country, was in the 90th percentile, which is an outstanding achievement for any school.
What about a general overview, yes?
I think that every parent and every grandparent of every student in our school can see the result of the lessons, of the character development that takes place in these children.
When I grow up, I would like to live in Israel, find a job, and also give lots of tzedakah to the Israeli army.
I would like to be a Hebrew teacher and to teach children that don't know a lot about Torah a lot.
It's very touching to light the Shabbos candles with my daughter, with my 3.5-year-old, almost 4-year-old, because I can almost whisper it and hear her words coming through behind with her little child voice, Baruch Atah Hashem, and with her little hands over her chubby hands over her eyes. And it means so much because I'm not only connected to her, which I am in the most emotional way, but I'm connected to my husband through her, and I'm connected to the generations of Jewish history.
PJC is a place where people can learn and live Torah values. You can learn about them at many excellent places of Jewish learning. You can live them in many Jewish neighborhoods, especially older Jewish neighborhoods. But at Pacific Jewish Center, you have a group of people with all the enthusiasm of fresh discovery, learning and simultaneously living what they are learning and raising their children at the same time. I've never seen it anywhere else.
The essence of a Jewish life is to change the world for the better. It's to use the tradition and the grounding that we have to perfect the world. And that means that there's no aspect of life where we cease to be Jewish in our professional lives, in our family lives, in our social lives. We have a very special role to play.
It's very important that Yiddishkeit and the values that we have to take out into the world are preserved here so that we can continue as a nation. And our little bit of doing it here in Venice will just spread its antennas out for the rest of the Jewish world and the world at large.
There have been articles about PJC in Japan and Australia and South Africa and Israel and Europe and throughout the United States. People are fascinated by what's going on here. We've sent out speakers through our Speakers Bureau and presented programs in 32 states of the Union. And right now, if you total up all of the people who have been affected in some way, brought closer to Jewish tradition, who've attended one of our classes or participated in the days of learning or the weekend retreats or sent their kids through our school, it now amounts to tens of thousands of people.
I think that PJC can be described as a community that's warm, very genuine, and very alive. Knows where it's going. It's doing it in the middle of the most unlikely place in the world, and yet is the most incredible success that I've ever seen.
Well, we're living examples of the fact that PJC is an introduction to what Jewish living is about, and I would recommend that anyone who has any fears about what it is, just come and spend a Shabbat with us. You're all welcome.